2026 is genuinely one of the best years horror gaming has ever had, and I don't say that lightly. So here are 10 games that I think you need to traumatize yourself with.
Hello?
It hasn't been easy. But after much effort, here we finally are.
Who are you?
I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for.
Resident Evil Requiem has been a long time coming. After Village wrapped up Ethan's story, a lot of people were wondering where Capcom was going to take the series next, and the answer is back to where it all started. Raccoon City. You've got two protagonists this time. Grace Ashcroft, her mother Alyssa was a journalist, one of the survivors of the original Raccoon City incident. Grace grew up in that shadow, buried herself in work, and now she's going back to investigate what her mother spent her life trying to expose. The other protagonist is Leon S. Kennedy. Yeah, he's back. And what's interesting is they're not playing the same game. Grace's sections are pure survival horror. Slow, tense, run and hide energy, limited resources, oppressive atmosphere. You genuinely feel like you're not supposed to be there. Leon's side plays completely differently. More action forward, closer to RE4, that signature combat, the kicks, the crowd control. So depending on who you're playing as, the game actually shifts genres underneath you. One makes you feel like an action hero, the other a helpless lamb. And visually, this might be the best looking Resident Evil game they've ever made. The lighting in particular is doing a lot of heavy lifting. There's a shot in the trailer of Raccoon City at night, rain coming down, neon signs reflecting off flooded streets, and it looks like something out of a movie. If you're a horror fan and you're only paying attention to one game on this list, this is probably the one. Nobody really knew who Team Clout was before Ill showed up. A studio of about 30 people, most of them coming from film backgrounds. They worked on It, VHS, actual horror productions, and it shows. Ill is a first-person survival horror set inside a massive research fort. And the reason it keeps coming up in every conversation about 2026 is purely down to how it looks. The lighting is photorealistic in a way that feels almost unfair for a debut title. But the thing that really gets people talking is the dismemberment system. These monsters don't just take damage, they come apart. Shredded flesh, exposed bone, the whole thing reacts to exactly where and how you hit them. It's one of the most viscerally realistic gore systems ever put in a game. And to add on to the list, they used binaural audio on top of that, meaning the sound is designed to make you feel like things are actually moving around you in physical space, and you've got something that's going to be genuinely difficult to play alone in the dark. This is the one that comes out of nowhere and ends up being everyone's horror game of the year. Visually, it's as horror as it gets.
Something that was real.
Can anyone hear me? This is Dr. Maya Joshi. I've been left behind on Isla Nublar.
Okay, so Jurassic Park Survival is a bit of a different beast compared to everything else here. This isn't a haunted house, there's no supernatural element, no demons, just you, an island full of dinosaurs, and absolutely no way off. You play as Dr. Maya Joshi, an InGen scientist who couldn't evacuate when everything went wrong. The story picks up the day after the events of the 1993 film, so the park is already collapsed, the dinosaurs are loose, and you are one of the only humans left on Isla Nublar. What makes this work as a horror game is the approach. This isn't an action game where you fight dinosaurs, you outsmart them. You hide from them. You use distraction and stealth to get through encounters because fighting a T-Rex head-on is not an option. That tension, that feeling of being genuinely prey is exactly what made the original film so terrifying. And from what's been shown, the game captures that really well. Visually, it's stunning. The island feels alive. Weather systems, reactive wildlife, dense jungle that actually feels like somewhere you could get lost in. One of the more interesting games on this list, precisely because it doesn't feel like a traditional horror game at all, it just makes you feel like you're going to become dinner the entire time.
Pain. Ecstasy. Suffering. To us, they are the same. You know nothing about the true beauty of suffering.
Next up, we have Hellraiser Revival. Clive Barker, the guy who created the whole franchise, has been involved with this from day one. And that matters, because every Hellraiser game that's come before this has been not great. This one feels genuinely different. It's first-person, story-driven survival horror. You play as Aiden, trying to rescue his girlfriend from the labyrinth, the hellscape ruled by Pinhead and the Cenobites. And Doug Bradley is back voicing Pinhead, the original actor. That alone should tell you how seriously they're taking this. The gameplay mixes melee weapons, firearms, and a mysterious puzzle box called the Genesis configuration that gives you powers to fight back against the demonic forces. But the thing that really stands out is the visual design. It is genuinely disturbing in a way most horror games aren't brave enough to be. Chains, hooks, things that shouldn't be alive but are. The trailer earned every second of its age rating. Saber Interactive are the developers, and if you know anything about them, you know they build games that actually ship and actually work. Fall 2026, this one has real potential to be a landmark Hellraiser moment.
Let us begin.
I have to follow my sister. The lost village.
The ritual will begin soon.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly is not a game people forget. Ask anyone who played it on PS2 and watch their expression change. There's something about this one that just sticks. And now it's getting a full remake. The premise is deceptively simple. Twin sisters Mio and Mayu wander into the wrong village, an abandoned place called Minakami, where something terrible happened a long time ago. And the only way to defend yourself against the ghosts is to photograph them with a camera called the Camera Obscura. That sounds almost funny, but it's a unique concept that inherited from the previous game. To take a photo, you have to let the ghost get close. Really close. The closer they are, the more damage you deal, but the more danger you're in. It creates this horrible push and pull that never lets you feel safe. The remake adds 3D spatial audio, reworked visuals, and a refined version of the sister mechanic, where Mio and Mayu's bond actually feels tangible in gameplay. This franchise has always been about dread over gore, atmosphere over action. And for horror fans who are tired of jump scares or an aspiring photographer, this is the one for you.
So...
What is that?
Who's there? Take it slow.
Directive 8020 is actually already out. It dropped May 12th, and it's from Supermassive Games, the people behind Until Dawn and The Quarry, so you already have a rough idea of what you're walking into. But this one goes to space. Earth is dying, a colony ship called the Cassiopeia is sent to find humanity a new home, it crash lands, and the crew quickly realizes something on that planet can mimic them perfectly. It looks like them, sounds like them, and the only way to stop it is to figure out who's real before it's too late. The inspiration here is very openly The Thing, that 1982 Carpenter film that still holds up as one of the most paranoid, uncomfortable pieces of horror ever made. And that's exactly the right well to draw from for a game about an alien that wears human faces. What's different from previous Supermassive games is the scale. Bigger cast, bigger environment, more ways for things to go wrong. The choice system is deeper, the consequences feel more permanent. If you've got friends to play this with, up to 5 players on the couch, this is going to be a very loud night.
3 months ago, we attempted the dreaming ritual. What do you remember?
Just pain. And you?
Nothing. But I woke up, and you didn't.
I don't understand.
You were gone, and I tried to bring you back, but I failed.
Calvin! No!
The Sinking City 2 doesn't get talked about enough. Frogwares, the studio behind it, had one of the most complicated few years in the industry. Legal disputes, the original game getting pulled and re-uploaded without their permission, a genuine fight to survive as a studio. They kept going. And this is the result. It's set in a flooded, rotting version of Arkham. Lovecraftian horror, cosmic dread, the kind of story where the deeper you dig, the worse things get. For the city, for your character, for your sanity meter. Yes, there's an actual sanity system. Because apparently surviving a legal battle, getting your own game stolen, and rebuilding from scratch wasn't enough of a sanity check for these guys. What's immediately striking about this one is the Unreal Engine 5 work. The flooded streets, the waterlogged architecture, things lurking in the water that you can't quite make out. It looks genuinely oppressive, in the best way. Inventory management, optional puzzles, backtracking through an open world that keeps revealing new horrors. This is old-school survival horror built with modern tools. And Frogwares absolutely deserve the win if this lands.
Don't leave me!
Please! Over here!
Ontos is from Frictional Games. This studio is definitely on to something with this game. If that name doesn't mean anything to you, they made SOMA and Amnesia. This one has been in development for over 10 years. 10 years! And it shows. Not in a bloated way, but in the way a game feels when every single decision has been reconsidered 100 times. You're playing as Aditi Amani, an engineer who travels to a repurposed moon hotel called Samsara after receiving a message from her estranged father. Stellan Skarsgård plays the father, the guy from Andor. That casting choice alone tells you the kind of tone they're going for. Where SOMA was about consciousness, what it means to be human when your mind can be copied, Ontos is about reality itself. What's real, what's constructed, what happens when you can no longer trust what you're experiencing. Frictional describe it as existential terror rather than primal fear. The kind of horror that doesn't jump scare you, it just quietly dismantles something in your head and leaves it there. No firm release date yet, but this might be the most important horror game of 2026. Decrepit is a one-man game. One developer, Olaf Hagelin, built this entire thing solo, and the first time the trailer dropped at the Game Awards 2025, people stopped scrolling. It's first-person, Souls-like, set in a medieval castle full of undead horrors. Every time you die, and you will die, your gear gets stripped and you wake up in a different cell. The castle layout stays the same, but what you're carrying doesn't, so you're always starting from scratch with whatever you can scavenge from the things trying to kill you. The combat is deliberate and punishing. Every weapon has its own attack patterns, its own weight, positioning matters, reading enemy telegraphs matters, getting greedy gets you killed. What's remarkable is that it looks like it came from a team of 50 people. The atmosphere is suffocating, the enemy designs are genuinely creepy, and the whole thing has this grimdark medieval horror quality that's rare in games right now. One developer. Remember that when you're watching the trailer.
Simon, listen to me. You can't stay in this room forever. I can't stay in this room forever. I know this is going to be hard. But you have to come back to me. Come back to me, Simon.
And the last one, Silent Hill Townfall. 4 years of nothing, announced in 2022, and then silence, which, to be fair, is kind of on brand. Then, February this year, Sony State of Play. Trailer drops, and it looks genuinely unlike anything the franchise has done before. It's first person, set in Scotland, 1996. You play as Simon Ordell, who arrives at a foggy coastal town called St. Amelia. And instead of the iconic radio, your threat detection is a handheld TV, a CRTV. This little screen shows you the outline of creatures through walls before you can even see them, and the DualSense rumbles when something gets close while you're hiding? That detail alone is doing a lot of work. The developer is Screenburn Interactive, small Scottish studio, very specific vision.
They travel to actual fishing villages on Scotland's east coast for reference. There's a real sense that this team built the world they know and then filled it with something wrong. What's interesting is that Annapurna Interactive is co-publishing alongside Konami. That's not a name you associate with big franchise horror. That's the studio behind Stray, Outer Wilds, Disco Elysium. They publish things with intention. Their involvement here says something about what kind of game Townfall actually is. No firm date yet, but after Silent Hill 2 Remake and Silent Hill F both proved this franchise is very much alive, Townfall might be the one that takes it somewhere completely